You're listening to Life Check Yourself with life coach, transformational leader, and dating and relationship badass, Marni Batista. Every week, you'll get the raw truth from top experts and real people on the important life and love issues you want to know about. So, if you're ready to life check yourself in your relationships, your career, and the areas of your life that matter most to you, and you're not afraid to be called out on your, stuff, then you're ready for what's next.
Life Check Yourself with Sherianna Boyle, a contemporary take on manifesting. How to use the power of emotions and intuition to cultivate peace, freedom, and joy. Ladies, welcome. I'm really happy for you today because I have Sherianna Boyle as my guest. She is the author of 10 damn books, including her latest, which is called Energy in Action. You're going to love this. The Power of Emotions and Intuition to Cultivate Peace and Freedom. Who does not want that? Her book, Emotional Detox, has been a bestseller on both Amazon and Barnes & Noble since 2018. Her book, The 4 Gifts of Anxiety, was endorsed by the National Association of Mental Health. She's an adjunct psychology professor, a professor of yoga. She's a professional speaker for corporations such as Plenty of Fish dating app. And she is everywhere. You can find out more about her, of course, at sheriannaboyle.com, and we'll have all the info to get right in touch with her and get her latest book and your free alignment kit in the show notes. So don't fret. You can just listen. So I'm super excited. I mean, you've been diving deep into this work for many, many years. Where did the idea for this new book come from? Like, why did you see there was a need for it, and what was the inspiration?
Yeah. So energy in action, my camera's blurry, so I'm going to hold it up here. I don't know what happened to my camera today. It just went blurry. So energy in action sort of evolved out of the emotional detox book series that I wrote. So I wrote 3 books on emotional detox, really get clear on how to process your emotions, what that looks like, teaching people a system I call CLEANSE, which is an acronym for emotional processing. And then the next question became, okay, great. I'm aware of how to process my emotions. I know they're important. I know they're a part of manifesting. But now I'm at the point where, how do I hold this? Because there are times where I feel like, okay, I got this. And then all of a sudden the energy kind of droops. It's like a plant, right? When a plant has water, it's like perks up, it feels fresh, it feels good. And then all of a sudden it's a little droopy, right? And that's how you know it needs water. Well, we need water too. Only our water is, we need water, but we need energy and action. So energy and action is really my way of looking at manifesting. In fact, that's what I define manifesting as.
Okay, I love that.
Yeah, manifesting, the definition of the book and why the publishers were so interested in it is they were like, you define manifesting as energy in action? I'm like, who doesn't? And I guess people didn't, right? So
yeah.
Manifesting means your energy is in action. But here's the thing, you're always manifesting something. It's not that you turn it on and off like a switch, because I think sometimes some of the teachings out there make that kind of might imply that without me saying it like that. They imply it like, okay, I want to, on Friday night, we're going to manifest this.
Right. If I write in my journal, I'm manifesting, but no, you're manifesting 24/7.
24/7. And manifesting is your energy in action, which then led to this. As I'm uncovering this, I'm realizing, just like I did with emotional detox, we need to redefine action to make this really work. Because the way it's defined now is people are exhausting themselves and they're overdoing it. They're overthinking, overanalyzing, and it's actually interfering with their manifesting potential.
Okay. First of all, you're my soul sister. This is like right up my alley. Okay. So if I just want to get even back to, so for everyone who isn't yet in our soul sister tribe, of understanding really what energy is, because I think a lot of people are like, energy, like, I don't have energy to go for a jog. I can barely take care of my kids, do the laundry, make dinner, and, go to work. So when you're defining even energy, like, that's more expansive than just your physical energy, correct?
It is, but I'm also defining that your emotions are in flow.
Yeah. Okay.
So
So explain how all
yeah,
of it works together.
yeah. So energy is consciousness,
Right.
right? Energy is inner movement. We know now through mindfulness that when your energy is in motion, you feel more relaxed, right?
Inflow.
You feel in flow, you feel more chill, you feel less attached to outcome. You feel like there's space between thoughts. And so when your energy is in action, it's things are moving inside of you from a vibrational standpoint.
I love this. Okay. So just
Yeah.
when you said it, by the way, and if people who are listening, didn't your heart rate just slow down when Sherianna was like describing that feeling? Because I know mine did. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So when are a huge part of keeping our energy in action. So a lot of times the old part of us, we used to control our emotions. At least, well, many of us were taught to do that, right? Like hold
Right.
it together, right? Hold it together. You got to just do it, right? Do your job. You're a parent, do your job kind of thing. And so now we know that emotions, if we don't allow them to go into a processing state, then we inevitably will suppress them. And when we suppress them, we minimize, we disregard, we shove them under the rug. But on the other hand, when emotions are in flow, when we allow them to exist, then they give us information about our life. So what happens when emotions are in flow, then that's naturally going to kick in your intuition, and then you're being guided, right? And so when you have your emotions in flow and your intuition in flow, those two are your energy in action. That's what I really call it. And you're in that processing state. And then that's where the laws of the spiritual laws of the universe come in, which is what I talk about in Energy in Action and how it's different than the other books. As I review 13 spiritual laws, but from this perspective.
Okay. So we understand what energy is. And I really want everyone to like write down on the Post-it note, I'm manifesting 24 hours a day, right?
Yes.
Explain that, because whatever flow or lack of flow, how does that tie into the principles, and how does that work? Maybe even just pick one to start and talk about how it can work for us or against us, I guess.
Yeah. So in terms of, I look at energy as similar, or energy and flow, and the way energy in action is, it's kind of like the brain. It's the best way I can describe it. So we have neurons in the brain. We have specialized neurons, and some of them get activated. And while some of them are activated, believe it or not, some of your neurons take a rest. Neurons need a rest. They need a little break. But the point is, it's not about one being better than the other. They work together. They help each other out. It's like a team, right?
Okay.
So these spiritual laws, which as I was digging in for energy and action, I'd never heard this before, but because I dove into emotions so much, I suddenly realized, oh my gosh, the spiritual laws of the universe are a guidance system for keeping our energy in flow. So they're telling us that we're always manifesting something. We may not be aware of it or conscious of it. In terms of a spiritual law, let's take out the spiritual law of perpetual transmuted energy. Okay.
Ooh, okay. I love it.
Yeah. That one tells us that we are always in a state of change. So there really is no such thing as being stuck. Energy is always in motion. It's always reshaping itself and reforming itself. But we as human beings, if we don't see things moving on the outside action wise, right? And this is where we need to redefine it. Like if we don't see someone working or getting their tasks done, we assume, that nothing's happening in their life. And that's just simply not true according to the spiritual laws of the universe. As we know now that healing work has been around for a long time, that a lot happens when we allow our energy to move, when we allow our emotions to be processed, our intuition is kicking in, and we could be clearing, we could be downloading something. A lot is at work underneath the scenes, because here's the thing, manifesting takes place on another plane, right? So we're on another level of consciousness. It just hasn't trickled down to the physical yet.
So first of all, I love this. I was thinking the other day, literally yesterday. So I was living in an RV for 10 months, traveling around, and I like to process in the shower, but I was living in an RV. And so I had to take really, really short showers. And the other day I was in this nice long ass hot shower, and I was thinking about that. I was thinking like, wow, I need space and time to be to have consciousness of all of this flow, right? And so I'm wondering if you could talk about, like, when you're really busy and you feel like you're working hard, which is what you said at the beginning of our time, like, we're working hard, we're working hard at making everything happen, but then there's no space, there's no time, and so it feels like we're stuck. So how does it really work? How does that busyness get in the way? Because that's the action, I'm guessing, that takes us further away from what we want.
So it can be very confusing, as you say. And I hear what you're saying, the showers. I've had many downloads in showers.
Right?
I've gotten book titles in showers.
Praise be a long hot shower. Yes.
Right. But what I'm going to do is, actually, because you seem like you'd be up for this, Marni, so what I did in this book is I created a special system to help us. So I'm going to ask you and your listeners to just take a moment and take a nice deep breath. So the question is, what do you do when you're crazy busy, right?
Yes.
Right? You're crazy busy. And what I hear you saying is you've got a lot of energy from those showers, right?
Yes.
You felt the movement. We know Marni felt the inner movement because she became more clear.
Yeah.
Right. Because you said that gave me calm, in addition to the fact that it just feels good on your body, your physical body. But from a spiritual perspective, it sounds like it brought you a little clarity, perhaps some grounding.
Yes. Like an awareness of my beingness, sort of.
Yes. So we can say that things were in action for you. That was the way you could felt your energy moving. Everything is starting to align from a universal perspective. You're perhaps not attaching to outcome, right? Which is teaches that we kind of detach. We go with the flow a little bit more. We become a little bit more creative in these action states. So again, we have to constantly redefine action, because we're so conditioned that it's, what are you going to do? What do people ask you when they meet you? So what do you do? And I want to say, I just do downloads in the shower, right?
Exactly.
And so let me ask you, as you take a nice deep breath, so take an inhale, and your audience, take an inhale and take an exhale. And I'm going to ask you to notice your body, and I'm giving you a very short version of this. There is a longer version in the book. Okay. So I don't want everyone to think this is it. It's the cliff. It's very brief. If you could tell me if there was a color that you would be drawn to right now, Marni, what color would that be?
I'm going to say like a blue-gray, but it's got blue in it.
Okay. So like a blue-gray, take another deep breath, and I just want you to check in with that again. Get your energy in action. So inhale again. I'm not saying you're wrong, but I just want you to get a little bit more movement there. So take an inhale, everybody, and take an exhale. And it might change or not, but just kind of double check with your inner self. What color are you drawn to right now?
So now it's like a blue.
It's a blue. Okay. So you got a little bit more. Is it like a darker blue, lighter blue?
It's a lighter blue. It's a lighter blue.
Okay. All right. And so let's check in. So when I look in my little handy dandy book here, Energy in Action, that tells us I line blue up with the law of correspondence.
Ooh, okay.
Okay. So that is where we're going to speak from. Okay. So you asked the question again, you asked, how do I deal with a busy day? The law of correspondence tells us that everything that's happening outside of you is inside of you. And I know
Everything.
that.
Wait, say that again. Say it again.
Okay.
That's so deep.
Anything that's happening outside of you is inside. It's like a mirror.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
So the fact that you say my busy life, which is on the outside, the law of correspondence is going to say that this is happening on the inside in terms of busyness. Do you feel like is it a little chaotic lately? I mean, you said you were living somewhere for 10 months. So I'm
totally
imagining a little less, settled, right? So
exactly.
Right. So that inner chaos that maybe not feeling like you got your footing, right? Rattled is inside of you. That's why you're saying, how do I deal with the busyness of my life? Now, we could say, okay, Marni, you got to do this, but we're still working outside of you.
Right.
Energy and action is we got to work on the inside. So there's something. So that's why every single law that I have, the law of correspondence, so explains that law more thoroughly, comes with a practice that teaches you how to process your emotions. So for you, I would say, we would move through those feelings of unsettledness. And maybe it's a little frustrating, right? At times to be, I would imagine those emotions are there. And I'm feeling like nerve-wracking. Like it's just like annoying.
Well,
right?
It was by choice. And also, it's like very uncomfortable for sure.
Yeah. So that itchiness, that rattledness, and if I could only just like have my space, right? That needs to move, right? And that's when we turn to other laws. So this is the thing I want people to know about manifesting. These laws all work together. So now I say, okay, what's outside of me is inside of me. Now I'm going to go over to that law of perpetual transmuted energy I told you about, which says, well, that's okay, because we can transform anything. We can take rattledness or disjointed frustration, and we have the ability to transform that into calm, into peace, into centeredness and groundedness, right? So we're going to be moving through one of the practices in energy and action so you can align with the law of correspondence. The other thing that happens with this practice, when you tell me that you're drawn also to this, is protection, right? Protection, it's a very protective energy, but it's also an energy of faith, right?
Yes.
Having faith, trusting the process. You feel like, so now we're talking frequency and vibration, right? So what I'm feeling and around this whole thing is that as you download trust, as you download faith, right? You have to trust that your intuition was, you followed it, right? It's not comfortable. It's not always, you're a perfect example. It's not always comfortable to follow your intuition.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like living and breathing everything I teach. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah. So as you gain that trust, so there's a practice in the book that helps you to download trust, helps you to download those higher frequencies. And as you really get that faith, and as you get that, and also protection. And I'm not sure. I'm trying to kind of tap in a little bit about the protection thing, because protection can mean a lot of things. Perhaps it's just protect your energy a little bit.
Yeah, no, for sure. I could totally see that. I think it's about for me, what's been really challenging over the last year, and less so now that I'm finally staying in one place mostly, is like almost time guarding my process.
That's yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was talking about like, oh, I can't take a long shower. I'm like, oh, I'm in a new place. I got to go do stuff. I got it. Right. And so in the doing, it was really challenging to stay connected to time of being. So I feel here now, especially like I'm really making that double down effort to protect the
preserve your energy.
Yeah, I love it. Preserve my energy and to be in flow.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
That's you were drawn to blue. So that's everything that comes, not everything, but that's what I would say helps you to line up and to keep your energy in action. So the priority would be preserving your energy, not right now, not running all over town, seeing every possible sightseeing, every coffee shop you could visit right now. It's just not the time. It will shift once you get that energy and flow, then that will open up other things. But right now feels like it's a lot like that preservation and really sinking into this transition. I don't think
Yeah.
we do put timelines. It's been 10 months. I should be transitioned by now, right? Not
Oh, no.
necessarily. Yeah, not
Yeah.
necessarily. Right. And we need time.
Yeah.
You're also writing a book.
I am. I'm writing a book. I'm talking about all this stuff in my book. Yeah. No, I think this is really, really amazing. And I was actually in a coaching call last night. We were talking about transition and the space in between what you were and what you're becoming.
I love that.
Right. Yeah. Right. And how when we get attached, we're like, I'm going to do this, like I'm going to get a new job, or I'm going to move to a new city, or I'm going to start dating again, or whatever it is. We're like, okay, I'm going to do this and it better happen. Right. And you're like, okay, universe, where's the payoff? And I think that's a really interesting thing, is that we're sort of like waiting for the payoff or waiting for it to work. And this is what I want to talk to you about too, because I've been on TikTok a bit, and there's all this lucky girl syndrome, which is like the new version of manifesting. But I think it creates a little bit of like attachment or outcome, or some sort of like, if I do this, then I'll do that and I'll be good, or it'll be right. And I'm wondering if you can kind of right size that thinking so that we can be in faith and trust the process and not be attached to timelines.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because I just broke up with TikTok.
Oh, you broke up with TikTok. Oh, okay.
I did.
Okay.
I just did, which is interesting because here I am. I have a book coming out. And it just was my gut. My gut said, it just doesn't feel right. I feel like I'm forcing myself into do something that doesn't really align with who I am. It's not to say I'm against social media, because I'm other social medias. I just felt it for whatever reason, no judgment. And I just deleted everything off. And it was amazing because I didn't realize how much it pulled from me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
I had to check it. And I think your question is how to have faith, right? So
yeah, how do we not get attached to the timeline? It's like we bargain with the universe, God, whatever you want to call it. You're like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to trust. And then we get stuck in like this attachment to time.
Yeah. Well, that is the law. That's many laws. I mean, we know the law of detachment, right? Teaches us that we can't attach to outcome. And also the law of polarity, right? That teaches us that we do sometimes experience the opposite of something. So the opposite of having a timeline is space, right? Is having freedom. So when you're in alignment, again, with the spiritual law of polarity, then what's going to happen is you're going to find yourself loosen your grip a little bit on that.
Yeah.
So as you become, it's like having a relationship with the laws. I think what I hear you saying is sometimes we talk to the universe like, what have you done for me lately?
Yeah.
Right. And when we talk to the universe, like, yeah, okay, I did this for you. Now you got to do this for me. Well, that's like having an agenda, right? It's like kind of bargaining with the universe, and the universe and the spiritual laws we have to keep in mind. I do think this gets lost and there are practices again in the book, is that they're really based on source energy, which is some people call God, some people call creator, but we're really, and when you take in the light, there's a lot of light practices in the book. It's about going back to source. So when we feel like something's not working, or we feel like looking at your watch, like, come on already, that means you're separate from source.
Oh, I love that.
Right. Because when we're with source, we're in oneness, and it just is, right? There is no this or that, us or them. It's just, we're all one. So we're all reconnecting to that source energy. Many of the practices in energy and action, which I was guided to put in. So for example, the law of polarity is like an indigo ray of light. So you can imagine an indigo ray of light. It's kind of like a bluish, purplish color, right? That indigo ray of light. And all of these are held by masters. So we have spiritual masters that love us unconditionally. They absolutely never give up on us ever. They're there for us, but we do have to have our energy in motion to be able to receive this incredible vibration that is available. So that is another reason why I say we have to redefine action, because we're really spinning our wheels, and we actually have to, there's got to be more receiving.
Yeah, I think that's
Right?
an important thing. And I think so for a lot of the women that are listening to this show, receiving is really challenging, right? It's like hard to, because it's a vulnerable state in
Well,
so many ways. Yeah.
what happened when I just said indigo ray? What did you do? What did you feel?
I was trying to imagine, my brain was going, wait, what is indigo again? And then I was
Yeah.
like, oh, it's like a darker blue. And so I was
And
just,
then what? And then what happened?
and then you were just kind of describing that feeling or that felt sense of energy. And I was sort of thinking about that. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's
So
amazing.
as you feel it, so if I say indigo ray, if you really start to let go of the meaning of it, right?
Right.
Because that's what we do as human beings. You know, we've given everything labels and meanings, and like red means stop, right?
Right. Right.
Right. And so as we start to loosen up these labels, just like we've been taught to label our emotions. Okay, we say anger. That doesn't really make me move energy, right?
Right.
But if I just say, okay, feel, breathe and feel the energy, you could be moving anger, you don't know, but it's just you've attached a meaning to it. So it causes you to kind of resist it a little bit. So it's the same thing with these rays. So you take a moment. If I said again, indigo ray of light, what does that feel like on your body? Let go of the meaning.
Yeah. It feels healing.
Okay. And how do you know it feels healing? What's it feel like? Does it feel like sturdy? Does it feel, and your audience can kind of tap in.
Yeah. Play along with me.
Play along with her.
It feels cleansing, like,
Yeah.
like cleansing, like rain,
There,
like the image I get is like rain, like a rain, like a fresh rain.
you are a smart cookie. Actually, you're an intuitive cookie because you picked up on exactly what that frequency carries.
Oh, okay.
It's a cleansing frequency. It anchors you, right? Which is what you're looking for right now, but not just anchors you grounding, but anchors you in love, pure love. So every single law of spiritual law is coupled with a ray of light and energy and action. We need both. Otherwise, we're going to be in our heads the whole time.
Right. So, and this is a way to amplify and connect to our receiving and the gentleness sort of that. That's the energy that I got.
Energy and action. So we're going to be processing our emotions. We're going to be tapping into the intuition. We're going to get a clear understanding, not just an understanding, but a respectful relationship with the laws, a mutual. And once you understand how they work, how you work, you just kind of get to know each other. Then we're going to be bringing in the rays of light, which is going to help you to transform.
I love this. Okay. Last question.
Yeah.
So for our ladies that are asking themselves questions about, is this person that I'm dating the right person? Am I really meant to have a partner? Is it too late for me? Like, is it in the cards for me? Like, how can they use this process, and where can they look when they get the book to kind of help create action around that's part of their lives?
The thing the three of them have in common, those three questions, is it tells me they're the little plant that needs some water. Okay.
Yeah.
They're drooping, they're getting a little sad or bummed out or a little droopy in the process. And that's completely understandable. Dating can, it's like a rite of passage. I mean, it's like you go through some stuff, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And so you get some bumps and your bruises along the way. Totally makes sense if you get a little droopy now and then. And so for anyone that's reading Energy in Action and you're asking those questions, is this for me? All of that, it tells me that one, your energy is getting low, you're getting depleted, you might be getting a little burnt out. And I would encourage you, so there's 13 colors. I would encourage you, and I developed a little bookmark too, that you can
cool.
you can go to my website and you can intuitively use the bookmark to kind of see what color you land on. And then I would just check in with yourself. So this is what I do in the morning. And I just say, okay, what am I drawn to today? What spiritual law would it benefit for me to get to know today, or to work with? And then I would do the practices, which is going to help your emotions and your intuition that go along with that law. And so for, if you have one of those questions, like this person saying, is this person for me? That was one of your questions.
Yeah, right.
Is this the right person for me? So I'll just pretend like I'm them. Do you have a person in mind
that I'm thinking? I have a couple of clients who are thinking, is this person for me? Yeah.
Okay. So think of one of them.
Okay.
Take a deep breath and just tap in because you're connected with them.
Yeah.
And who they are. And then tell me what color you're drawn to when you tap into them.
Well, I wanted to say red. Red came up first, and then I went to green because I felt like red was the wrong answer.
Well, then you go with red. Whenever you think it's wrong, you go with it.
I know, exactly. I'm sharing my process, people, just so you know, I'm real. I'm a real girl.
You are a
red.
real girl.
Red.
Yeah, red is going to, again, it reminds us of the law of perpetual transmuted energy, which means you can transmute anything. So you're not powerless. That's what this law says. And I think it's for all three of those questions.
Yeah, for sure.
You are not powerless. And I think when we see ourselves as less than, right? Or we feel like we're, maybe not asking enough of ourselves, or maybe we feel a little unworthy, or maybe we feel a little bit like, we can't do any better, then, these are all just signs that there's things coming up to be transmuted in you, transformed, and to go through the process under the red, the law of perpetual transmuted energy. So I'll tell you one of the, I've got to look at my book, so I don't have them all memorized, but one of them is for grounding. One of them is for engagement, which is interesting.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes we get so guarded that we do forget to engage, right? That there may be sort of some hesitancy. There might be a little bit of a guard up for some of these ladies, right? They might be protecting themselves. Like if I engage too much, I'm going to get hurt, right? And perhaps, I know people that have been doing dating, some of my clients, and, they're really, their engagement isn't, they're not really putting too much into it, right? They're already doubting the process or criticizing the process. That means you're putting in like a couple drops in there of energy, right?
Exactly.
You do. And I know people say, well, you don't get online dating, like it's creepy and but you still want to engage. Like, that's why I love people like you who have these tribes and communities. That's engagement, right? That is having these conversations, working through these, doing these practices. I think I love the way there's tribes like yours that exist for women so that they can have a safe place to explore creatively and to be honest, and it will be transmuted for you. And then that beautiful red ray of light. I mean, I love the red ray. I get it all the time. So don't think, oh God, I got to have the red ray. What's wrong with me? No, soak it up.
Love your red ray.
Love it because it is so powerful. I mean, one of the spiritual masters that oversees it is Jesus. So if you're a lover of Jesus, I'm a big lover of Jesus. I like soak it up, but there's other masters too. If you're like, oh no, don't talk Jesus. There's archangels and there's, all these kinds of, I'm a yoga professor. And so I'm pretty open, and I've been pretty blown away at this whole energy and action process. of what has come through in terms of spiritual guidance and assistance that we have. So embrace it. I would soak that red ray into your bones, like you've been, thirsty, and just take it in. Allow it to move your energy. Remember, it's not going to be on the outside. It's going to be on the inside. Let it sink in. I think a lot of our practices, what we do is we skim the surface.
Yes. Oh,
so get the
powerful.
download, just like your shower. You got the full download. Now you're like, oh, now I'm skimming it. Right. And I need the download. So you're just going to get it in another way now. And that's probably for your greatest and highest interest. Plus it'll save your gas bill.
Exactly. I can't spend my whole life in the shower. I love this. This has been so amazing. I mean, I bet like 50% of people who are listening weren't even half listening because they were like on Amazon trying to get your book. So make sure that you check it out. And you can go to sheriannaboyle.com/free-resources, which is going to be in the show notes. What will they find there?
Right. So if you're going to get the book, I would go to sheriannaboyle.com and get the bookmark. Okay. It's $1.97. Sure. It's not going to it's not going to break your bank. $1.97 because I just got to mail it and all that good stuff. I'll sign it. Right. And then you have it for you when you sit down for practice, and you get to use it as an intuitive tool. But you do need the book so that you know where to go to once you find your color and your law. Then you got to direct yourself to the practices. And it's about getting your energy into action. And it doesn't mean doing.
You don't have, it's not another thing to do.
It's not another thing to do. No.
Definitely go check all this out. Sherianna has such cool stuff on her website, the book where you can get the book. She has events, classes, you get the bookmark. I loved having you on here. I am just so excited for the value that you shared with any single person who's listening. So just what a blessing. Ladies, if you loved this, share it with a friend. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you freaking subscribe. We're trying to get our listener hours or our viewing hours so we can get verified and all that fun stuff. And then, of course, you can find out more on Instagram, what we're doing. And I am playing on TikTok and having a good old time. So make sure you follow us there. It's at Marni Batista. Sherianna, love you already. I'm so glad that we got to connect and meet. And ladies, oh my God, this is one you listen to like 17 times because there's so much to life check yourself. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye for now.
Hey, thanks for tuning into today's show. So if being in an intimate relationship in which you feel 100% seen, heard, and accepted by a high caliber man is a priority for you right now, and you're interested in seeing if you're a fit for working with me and my team at Dating with Dignity, here's what I want you to do. Just head over to DWD VIP, that's D as in dating, W, D as in dating, VIP.com, and book a call to speak with my team. We'll get on the phone with you for about 60 minutes, and you'll get crystal clear on what's stopping you from finding true love right now. We'll also take a look at what you want to create, what you want your whole life to look like when you're able to finally be fully expressed as a woman in a healthy relationship with an incredible guy. And if we can help you get from where you are right now to where you want to be, we will show you the fastest path possible that makes sense for you to do that. We help smart, successful women all over the world solve this one missing piece in their life so they can finally have it all. So to see if we can help you do the same thing, head over to DWDVIP.com. I'm Marni Batista, and let's talk soon.